Travel have returned. Set sail on board one of Norwegian Cruise Line's award-winning ships when you book during Expedia Cruises' Freestyle Sail. With enhanced safety measures and flexible risk-free bookings, you can look forward to blue skies and sunny days. Freestyle Sail. No schedules and no worries. You choose how you cruise. Book a balcony or above on select sailings and get exclusive offers. Free onboard gratuities, plus up to 5 additional offers. At Expedia Cruises, we offer every vacation possibility by air, land, or sea. Contact your vacation consultant today to explore every option for your perfect vacation worldwide. Cruise and travel.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for spending some time with us today for our freestyle sail event with Norwegian Cruise Line. Apologize for the little bit of technical bumps. We had a little bit of low bandwidth somewhere along the way, and in all these times when we're trying to connect together, get the odd bump, but it looks like we're good to go now. And we're here with Glenn and Kayla from Norwegian Cruise Line, and we're really excited. First of all, that cruising is back, and we have so much exciting news to share with you. And second of all, that we're celebrating that with this tremendous event. So Kayla, if you could click to the next slide, please, and we will get our presentation underway. Thanks very much. Before we dig in, we like to do a little bit of housekeeping so we can keep the technical bumps to a minimum. Just like us, if you do have a little tech trouble when you get going, just often the very best thing you can do is just to log out, and re-log into the webinar software. And usually that'll fix anything that's not running just quite right. Secondarily, you do have the option of changing the size of your screen and the pictures of the people speaking. So if you'd like to see a little more of the world and a little less of us, just adjust the little view icon at the top of your screen and you're able to change the ratios of the windows. Lastly, we like to make it easy for you to see or hear us. So we do have the closed captioning turned on, but down in the bottom right hand or sort of middle bottom right, you'll see a live transcript button on the webinar software. If you just mouse over, you can turn that off if you like. Probably most importantly is this is about information. There's so much to know even in normal times when planning a trip, but there's even more to know now. So we're here to tell you about what's happening with Norwegian and cruising the world and to answer your questions. So we have experts from Norwegian and Expedia Cruises standing by now. And throughout this presentation, you can just simply enter your question into the little Q&A box at the bottom and an expert will answer them. And in these events, we do our very, very best to answer all the questions that you may have. But if there is something we're stuck on or we can't get to or you don't get the answer you need, please, by all means, reach out to your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant and they'll get you the information that you need. And really, the next slide or two is just a little bit about us before we introduce our friends from Norwegian. Hopefully you already know us, but if you don't, we are a full-service leisure travel agency with locations right across North America, and we're part of the Expedia group. So we offer really service at your fingertips on your own terms. We like to say we will meet you wherever you would like to meet and we can do business together. Our professional vacation consultants are spectacular planners, travelers, and we are here where you want to be that in store, in person, over the phone, chat, email, we're here to help. And we pride ourselves on creating the best possible vacation experiences for our customers. Next slide, please. Not only are we sort of have evolved over the years from a local travel agency into a full-scale digital operation, but we're still in the communities we serve. And we really found that our stores have evolved into travel hubs in the community. Not only are we, building great websites and marketing and communicating with our customers that way. But as you can see, we're raising funds in the community for charity. We're holding golf tournaments. We're operating full service stores in the communities where people can come and inquire and spend time really engaging with experts that are just as passionate about travel as you are. Next slide, please. The real magic of our organization over the years, and for what it's worth, as we got off to a quick start, my name's John Mast. I've been with the organization just a little over 20 years. I like to say since the turn of the century. And our expertise, as I've come to understand it, and how we go to market, is that we are navigators of spectacular vacation experiences. And obviously, as part of being part of Expedia Group and being one of the largest cruise retailers out there, we can bring you the value. We can get you the best choice in prices. But what I always tell people when they're thinking of working with us is that we bring service to the equation before, during, and after your trip. And that's because we are passionate, trained experts who love to travel, working very closely with suppliers, folks like Glenn and Kayla from Norwegian Cruise Line, and that we're there all the way through your trip. So really, that's what today's all about. It's all about the before at the moment, and we couldn't be more excited to see where the business is going. If you haven't heard, cruising has restarted. The ships are sailing very safely, and people are having a great time. So today, we want to spend some time telling you about it, and telling you about a special, as I said, offer from Norwegian Cruise Lines that we are bringing to market in partnership with Norwegian to really celebrate this rebirth of the business. So let's get to it. Next slide, please. So here it is, the agenda for today. At this point, I'm going to pass straight over to Glenn and to Kayla and let them walk you through the agenda and deliver just a spectacular presentation. So here we go.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our virtual event. We are so excited to have this opportunity to share with you all about our great cruise comeback. My name is Kayla Corbett. I'm the Senior Manager of Key Accounts, and I have with me my boss, Vice President of National Key Accounts, Mr. Glenn Rothy. So we are going to dive right into the great cruise comeback. I can click the next slide here. So here we are. We are back. You know, this term was joyfully coined by our president and CEO, Frank Del Rio. He really wanted to give the industry as a whole an opportunity to celebrate a return to service. If you didn't know, our first sailing back this year was on the Norwegian Jade after 555 days of paused operations. We started up in Athens doing Greek Isle sailings, and we now have 5 ships in the water. Just this week, actually, we introduced 2 more in Europe. We have our Norwegian Encore sailing out of Seattle in Alaska, and we have the Norwegian Gem sailing out of Miami doing Caribbean sailing. So we are steadily reintroducing our fleet, and we are more than happy to welcome our guests and crew back. By the end of this year, we'll have an additional 2 more ships. So we'll have 7 ships total sailing by the end of 2021. You'll see Norwegian Breakaway here out of New York, which will be reintroduced. Norwegian Escape will be sailing out of Port Canaveral in November, and several more. So we will steadily be returning. We have missed doing what we do best, which is sailing with guests all over the globe. And we've returned in a healthier format than ever before with light of recent events. And, you know, it's now is the time to really celebrate and get back to exploring the globe and doing what we all have been waiting to do so patiently this last year and a half. Our crew is just as excited and committed to seeing you as well. And this is really a big success story for our crew members. You know, they've been without opportunities to earn income. Hospitality is their driving force and their passion. And, you know, Glenn and I really experienced that just recently on Norwegian Encore when we were sailing early August for our test cruise. You know, the crew just couldn't do enough for us. We could feel the smiles and the good energy underneath their masks. And, you know, this is really a happy success story for all of us here at Norwegian Cruise Line and our NCL family, because we know how it is with guests, you know, coming on board and meeting friends as they sail. And many times it's the crew that also become like friends and family. And they're really, really excited and eager to welcome you back on board our beautiful ships. So diving right into our freestyle sail offer, which kicks off today. Today is the launch day where we have 10 days of absolute fun with free onboard gratuities for our first and second guest, as well as our additional take-all offers. So what does this mean? Well, we offer a take-all special where you can take all 5 free offers, including free open bar, which is obviously the most important on your cruise, specialty dinings, free excursions, free Wi-Fi, free additional guests. We like to say 3rd and 4th because We know that the climate right now with children is still evolving with vaccinations, but if you have third and fourth guests, those are also free as well as 30% off all of our cruises. And then, like I said, free prepaid gratuities for the first and second guest. We also have an air promotion running, which is free air for the second guest, as well as 50% reduced deposits. So now really is the time to take advantage of this offer. Expedia was very generous to provide us with great marketing for this sale, and we really want to get the word out and book as many people as possible, since now really is the best time to buy here. So I'm going to pass it over to Glenn, who's going to take us through the Norwegian difference.
Thank you, Kayla.
Welcome.
Appreciate the introduction. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Wanted to share a little bit about just Norwegian Cruise Line in general. One of the things I like to talk about the most is our ships, our crew, our destinations. There's just so much excitement, I think, especially now. Kayla mentioned it about being able to get back to cruising again, the return to cruise, the great cruise comeback. We had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to sail on the Norwegian Encore, which is actually the ship you're looking at right now, up in Alaska. And to Kayla's point, it was after a year and a half of not being able to sail at all, being able to get on a ship and be able to experience cruising again. That's what we do, right? That's our passion. And just to get the energy from the crew, as well as all of the guests that came on board. Everybody was so excited to be there, especially in a beautiful destination like Alaska. So I wanted to share a little bit of just about kind of Norwegian Cruise Line, because some people, I know when they see the Norwegian Cruise Line, they think, oh, it's a cruise line that goes to Norway. Well, yes, we do, but we go to a lot of different destinations. And one of the things that I always like to talk about is our fleet. And you certainly know when you see one of our ships because of the hull art, as you can see here on the bow of the Norwegian Encore. We've got an award-winning fleet, 17 ships. We've got another 6 ships on order starting in 2022, and then 1 each year after that. But all of our ships were built with freestyle cruising in mind, and I'll talk a little bit about what freestyle cruising means. But as we continue to evolve as a company, we also evolve our ships. So we have a commitment to innovation on our ships. You'll see in some of these pictures that if you haven't cruised in a while, or you haven't cruised Norwegian in a while, you might take a look at some of these and go, wow, I'm not, this is not what I remember Norwegian being, or this is not what I remember cruising to be. But in reality, that freestyle cruising is being able to cruise where you want, when you want, how you want to do it. No schedule to follow, just your own. So it's a great way to cruise, because it's really that's how I lead my life, right? When I'm hungry, I go eat. When I want to take a nap, I go back to my room and take a nap. You're not caught up by schedules. And one of the great things about Norwegian Cruise Line is we have so many different options available, really depending on what you want to do. So feel free to cruise your way, whether it's wanting to dine at a different specialty dining each night, or going to the spa and getting a massage every single day if you want to do that. We also have great restaurants and a wide range of accommodations. So the first thing I want to talk about is our dining. So, Norwegian always has been known for great dining. We've got a variety of different dining options on board. Obviously, the complimentary dining, which a lot of people are familiar with, complimentary dining rooms where we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From a menu, you serve appetizers and entrees and so on. We also have great buffets on board. But one of the things that I do like to think that separates us a little bit and sets us apart, because we really started specialty dining many years ago with freestyle cruising, and we've got a lot of great options for specialty dining. One of my favorites is Cagney's, which is our steak restaurant. We also have a new dining establishment on board called Anda by Scarpetta. You might be familiar with Scarpetta restaurants if you've been to Las Vegas and the Cosmopolitan, or in New York City. Great high-end Italian restaurants, but lots of different dining options to choose from. We also have on here, it's called treat shops, but we've got a variety of different gelato or chocolate bake shops, Starbucks, of course. Everybody loves their Starbucks and the special treats that they can get at Starbucks. So a lot of different dining options for everybody. We also have a variety of different accommodations. And, when you think about cruising, I think, most people think about balcony cabins, right? You always, especially if you're in Alaska, being able to have a balcony cabin, be able to sit out in your balcony and view the glaciers while having a cup of coffee in the morning, or, seeing the lights along the coast when you're sitting on your balcony with a cocktail at night. That's, a pretty special experience. But, at Norwegian Cruise Line, we've got a variety of different accommodation options, really, depending on the size of the group that you're going with, your budget that you're looking for. At the high top end are really luxury accommodations is the Haven by Norwegian. And really, this is kind of like taking a luxury ship and putting it on top of a contemporary line. Because, the Haven, you get 24-hour butler and concierge service. You've got key card access only area. You can see a couple of pictures. That top picture being the Haven Deluxe Owner Suite on the Norwegian Joy. Very spacious, very roomy. We actually have a 3-bedroom garden villa on some of our ships that can accommodate up to 8 people. It's 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. And so when we start looking at all the different accommodation types, we've got the Haven by Norwegian, we've got suites and penthouses, we've got club balcony suites, which are nice balconies with larger bathrooms, a little bit bigger balconies as well. We've got the regular balcony cabins, which on most ships are the highest number of cabins that we have are balconies. But then for people who like a maybe more economical option, we've got ocean view cabins that have just a window. We've got inside cabins, which actually some people really enjoy, because you can sleep like a hibernating bear if you're in your inside cabin, because it blocks out all the light. But then we also have studio cabins as well, which are really for solo travelers. And I saw a question early on, somebody was asking about the solo travelers or the single travelers. And, studios are great for that, because they are built for the solo traveler, and they don't have the single supplement, which is the extra cost associated to when you usually only have one person in a cabin. So with the studio cabins, we don't have that, but they're very popular. They're on actually the majority of our ships now, especially, the newer ones. We've got these studio cabins, and they are very, very popular. Not only for just, people who are just traveling by themselves, but people who may be traveling within a group, but don't necessarily want to share a cabin with somebody. When I go with my mother-in-law, she'll stay in a studio cabin, so she's not having to stay with us in the balcony. But there's a lot of different variety on board Norwegian Cruise Line when it comes to different accommodation types. And then, of course, the activities, that is really a prime focus for us, especially on some of our newer, bigger ships, because, the great thing about having large ships is there's a lot of space and a lot of places to have activities on board, not just for the kids, but, really for the entire family. A couple of the options that you see here on this slide, you see laser tag on the Norwegian Encore. And this is a particularly cool thing to do, especially at night, laser tag, running around. And we've got 2 different teams and all these kind of different obstacles to run around. It's actually you get a lot of exercise when you do the laser tag. But one of the real unique features, I think, that we have on our ships that started with the Norwegian Joy and the Bliss and the Encore is the Racetrack. And the great thing about the Racetrack is these are go-karts. They're all electric, so they're almost like having little mini Teslas around here. And I just love that picture of the Norwegian Bliss and the Racetrack, because if you don't know already, that's Alaska. And I can guarantee you, if you are on the Racetrack and the go-kart track on the Norwegian Bliss in Alaska, or even on the Encore, which is there now, you're going to be the first on your block to be able to experience go-karts in Alaska while viewing glaciers. But we also have the Galaxy Pavilion, which is a lot of 3D and 4D games and activities on board. We've got a sports complex. You can see also on the Norwegian Breakaway, we've got a ropes course. We've got obviously the fitness center, a bunch of kids activities as well. So it really, it's great for families. It's great for adults actually as well to experience all this stuff. It just gives you a lot of things to do while you're on board any of our Norwegian Cruise Line ships. And then the one thing that we're really known for is our entertainment. Actually, I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. What we're really known for a lot. We do a lot of things very well. But one of the areas that I think we always get a lot of a lot of compliments on is our entertainment, because we do full Broadway shows on board our ship. So if you've ever experienced a show on a Norwegian ship, you'll know that you've seen these full Broadway experiences like you would see in the West End in London or on Broadway in New York City. You know, for instance, on the Norwegian Bliss, we've got Jersey Boys. We've got a variety of different other shows on as well, including Kinky Boots, which is on the Norwegian Encore. We've got Footloose, which is on Norwegian Joy. And the great thing about this, as I mentioned, it's the full Broadway show. So if you know how much tickets are if you want to go to a Broadway show in New York, they're quite expensive. But the great thing about this is those productions are included in the cost of your fare. So, you know, in addition to all the Broadway shows, we have dinner shows, we've got live music. You can see another picture there of the Cavern Club on the Norwegian Epic, which does a great Beatles show. I think probably 3 or 4 times during a 7-day cruise. And of course, our casinos. Always love, you know, being able to go to a casino, sit down at a blackjack table, hopefully win some money there. But then we also have other theme parties as well. And you know, this would include some of the theme parties that we have. We've got, I know we have had an 80s show. We've had a white party as well. And then, you know, of course, the comedy clubs that we have on board, and a lot of dance studios, Howl at the Moon, dueling pianos, that sort of stuff. So lots of great entertainment while you're on board the ship. And then, of course, the destinations. As I mentioned earlier, we don't just go to Norway. We travel to over 450 different ports around the globe across all 7 continents. And as Kayla mentioned early on, you know, we are currently going to Alaska. We've got a ship up in Alaska, which is the Norwegian Encore. We've got a few ships doing Europe right now in the Mediterranean. We've got Pride of America sailing in Hawaii, and that's going to be starting up in the January timeframe. It's really the only game in town if you want to sail, if you want to fly to Hawaii, do a 7-day Hawaiian cruise around. We go to 5 different stops over the 7 days, because we actually do an overnight in Maui and Kauai. So that's really the only, we're the only option to be able to do that. And then of course the Bahamas, the Caribbean, we just got a lot of great different destinations, really depending on what you want your experience to be. And one particular one that I want to talk about here briefly, because I'm going to show a quick video of it, is Great Stirrup Cay. Now, Great Stirrup Cay is Norwegian's private island. We're actually the first cruise line to have our own private island. So it's been there for quite a long time, but we've just recently spent a lot more money on Great Stirrup Cay just to make a real exclusive, relaxing, luxury destination for our guests. It's actually probably, I would say, if I headed east from where I am right now in Miami, it's probably about 40 miles off the coast of Miami, but it really is a great destination for it. It consistently gets the highest ratings of all of our port activities, or all of our port stops in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And it's just really a nice, relaxing destination, a nice place to spend a day, to relax, to unwind. And as you can see, it was voted the best private island by Travel Weekly. So Kayla, why don't we go ahead and show the video so you can kind of get a better sense of what I was just talking about with Great Stirrup Cay. All right, thank you, Kayla. And I'm going to turn it back over to you to talk a little bit about Sail Safe.
That's right. Thank you so much, Glenn. Yes, we definitely wanted to address our Sail Safe program, as health and safety is certainly at the forefront of everyone's travel decisions and inquiries these days. And I like to say that, you know, cruise ships overall have always had a health and safety program. And the biggest word that I want to emphasize is enhancements. We have expanded and enhanced an already existing health and safety program to make sailing at sea one of the safest form in 2021 and beyond. And as we dive into that, you can see our plan in greater detail as I can click through. But Norwegian Cruise Line has made a commitment to guest health and safety, and that being, we made it a decision as a company that vaccinations were the way to go. So we are sailing with 100% fully vaccinated guests. This gives us many, many benefits. You know, everyone is tested prior to arrival, so we have certainty that every single guest that steps on a Norwegian ship has tested negative, and we are creating a safety bubble within the community that's sailing on board. When we say here cruising mask free, now this of course is according to local guidelines. So right now in Europe, there is a little bit more of more protocols in place as it relates to mask wearing in public areas. So some of our ships will have that as it relates to local mandates. However, cruising out of the United States, Glenn and I were just sailing in Alaska in early August, and there was no mask wearing on board. And we had a super safe, relaxing experience. No social distancing required, and that means, you know, it's not obstructive to your cruise experience. You can get on a Norwegian vessel and truly feel free and not be constantly reminded of health and safety protocols everywhere you turn, because we've done the hard work for you in terms of creating a safe environment. And now it's about relaxing and enjoying the experience. Our restaurants are open to every single guest. We don't have any parameters restricting certain guests per vaccination status. We have a fully vaccinated experience, and therefore everyone is invited to enjoy all of our restaurant experiences. No restrictions on shore excursions. Again, everyone can participate in shore excursions as they choose. We have, of course, safety measures in place with our local governments and authorities to create a safety net on land in the communities that we visit. But there are no restrictions of what people can and cannot do. And it really was a wonderful experience after the last year and a half of feeling confined and uncertain, to be able to step on board the ship and feel totally free. It really was special for us. And I want to bring that home as we kind of talk about other options and why Norwegian Cruise Line is the way to go in terms of booking your next cruise vacation.
You know, Kayla, I just want to point out quickly that I'm seeing a lot of questions about the vaccination policy, and you know, we just need to make sure that we're stressing that it is 100% vaccinations, no exceptions. So if somebody is unable to get a vaccination, or you know they're too young to get a vaccination at this point, you know, my suggestion would be to book something, you know, later into next year, because you know that's just the choice that we've made, you know, to ensure safety on board and ensure that everybody on board the ship, regardless of age or you know who they are, has a vaccination. So you know, all the crew, all the guests, anybody who happens to come on board during the port, whether it's a contractor or coming to deliver something, everybody is required to be vaccinated on board the ship.
Absolutely, yes. And I think you'll see that in bullet point here. So we have a full vaccination requirement for all sailing through December 31st of this year. We have not made a public position on 2022 just yet, as we're still evaluating parameters and conditions and watching how this pandemic evolves. But right now, you know, through the end of this year, full vaccinations will be required. Like I said before, we have universal testing and embarkation protocols so that you know as soon as you step on the ship that it is a safe environment. Capacity control, as we mentioned, enhanced cleaning measures. We have added to, again, we have always had medical facilities on board. We have added and upgraded our medical facilities to be more equipped than ever to handle all sorts of circumstances that may present itself. We also now have a dedicated public health officer on board whose only job is to make sure that public health and safety and sanitation are at the forefront of every single activity and action that happens on board. We have a lot of planning ashore. As I mentioned with the shore excursions, we want to create a safe environment when guests visit the various ports of call that we visit. So there's lots of different protocols in place to make sure that that's a safe experience as well. And then as well as handling the what if scenarios with our mobilization and response. We have planned for all sorts of different what if scenarios. What if I test positive while on board? What do I do if I need to debark the ship? All of those are assessed and planned so that guests can feel truly comfortable and safe when they take a cruise with Norwegian. So that being said, are you ready to cruise? We certainly think so. It's totally time to break free in 2022. I think all of us have been sitting here for the last year and a half, picking our bucket list destinations. We're getting excited. And now is the time to contact your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant to take advantage of the Norwegian Freestyle sale while it's live right now. So before we get into our fireside chat, I just want to share with you a little brand essence and get you excited for the experience to come with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Pull back.
Whoop.
The shades on a blue sky, sunny day. Watch all the worries of the world just sail away. An ocean, keep your heart wide open. I'm too busy feeling this free. Hey, 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 come on and celebrate. Hey, 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 it feels so good, go ahead. Hey, 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 don't let a moment slip away. Big time, so let's go. Let's go. Open your eyes and free your soul. You picked the perfect time, so let's go. Let's go. Taking a breeze with the magic kind of view. All that you need is right in front of you. So much to see, so much to do. I'm too busy feeling this free. Hey, 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 don't let a moment slip away. Hey, 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 if you're so good, go ahead and open your eyes. Free your soul. You picked the perfect time, so let's go, let's go. Let's go.
Yep.
Pull back.
Okay.
That was a lovely video, and honestly, it's great to hear, Kayla and Glenn, that you've both been out traveling. I myself just came back from a cruise, and it truly is wonderful to be back out there. And I think what my wife and I both remarked was just how grateful we were to be back out with people, but how lovely it was, in addition to, you know, for us, but in fact for the crew, for the people in the destinations. I think for those of us that head out first and have been heading out, you're getting an extra special experience it's pretty emotional. There's a lot of joy. People have a lot of pent up need to vacation. And I think when you get out there and get a chance to do it, it feels even better than normal. So I think we've got some questions to kind of help further dig into how things are and how things have evolved. But I think Kayla did just a tremendous job of going over what the protocols look like. And maybe, Glenn, our question here was, how has the Norwegian experience evolved over the past year and a half? And I think we've seen a lot of that in Kayla's presentation, but maybe from your own words, someone who has cruised, what was it like? And what do you think are the standout features that have been added and really people should know about, such that they can feel confident in their decision to go?
Sure, John, thank you. And hopefully you can hear me a little clearer now. I know that there maybe were some audio issues earlier, but hopefully those are taken care of. You know, I do want to stress the point that because we are 100% vaccinated, the cruise experience is just so much closer to what people experienced while they were on a cruise ship prior to COVID, right? Which is the the ability to be able to go, not wear masks, to be, not necessarily have to deal with social distancing. And the reason behind that is because we are in a closed environment where everybody is vaccinated, and there is no other place that I'm aware of that there's that guarantee, right? Going out to dinner down the street here in Coconut Grove, where I live, I don't know that everybody in that restaurant is vaccinated, if I wanted to go have dinner, but that when there's a security in knowing that everybody on board the ship, everybody that you're with is 100% vaccinated. So from that perspective, the experience on board really hasn't changed that much. Now, there's a lot of behind the scenes things, that are happening. Obviously, when it comes to health and safety protocols, it is a little bit different because we do require testing prior to getting on the ship, and that's all done port side or shore side. It's something that we take care of. So when before you get on the ship or before you actually go to register to get on board the ship, we do the testing for you. So that's a requirement for all of our guests. But once you're on the ship, people are free to do what they want when they want, right? And that's really the best thing about cruising on a 100% vaccinated ship, is the fact that the experience that you get, whether it's seeing Kinky Boots in the theater, or having dinner at Cagney's, which is my favorite place, getting that big bone-in ribeye at Cagney's. I love that, and not having to worry about masks and the social distancing. And Kayla mentioned that we are subject to local restrictions, which we have to do a little bit differently when we're in Europe, but it really is a great experience. And I think there's a little bit more focus than there was prior to on ensuring that everybody is washing their hands, and that's something that we've always done on board. I think one of the things about being a cruise line is we are heavily monitored, and this is even before COVID. So we do pay very close attention to the cleanliness of the ship, to ensure that it's a safe environment, not just for our crew, but for your guests as well. So
that's fantastic, and I think it brings up the testing truth, which on top of the vaccination is almost double or triple the safety in some ways. The trip that I was on, and for many people, anyone flying international, we need to test flying from Canada to the United States. So we've already been tested, and then we were tested again when we boarded the ship. So we were double tested and double vaccinated. And honestly, the test, it is what it is. I think we all have to get used to it in a traveling environment for the next little while. And we joked about it and got it done. And they were very efficient at the port, getting us through it and all the rest. And my wife joked actually that, getting your negative test result when you're about to go on a cruise is better than an upgrade on the airline now. It's the new upgrade.
Yeah.
It is a great feeling. But there's innovation all over out there. One of the things that I saw, for those of us that have now the ubiquitous hand sanitizer dispensers that are everywhere in our lives, on the ship and going through the port, they actually had them that were temperature checkers and hand sanitizers. So when you put your hands under there, it checked your wrist and it flashed your temperature up on the screen. And I thought, isn't that clever? It's a way for the ship to, just randomly double check that everybody's not got a temperature or anything like that. So I think we couldn't have felt safer. And I remember thinking, like, halfway between the gangway and our cabin, as we were headed for our cabin, one of the things they did was they had our cruise cards in our cabin, and it was unlocked, so we didn't have to go through that check-in process. I'm not sure if Norwegian's got some protocols in place like that, but all sorts of little innovations along the way that made it seamless. And I'll be honest, the whole not having to wear a mask on board was so pleasant, in fact, that by the time you're in your cabin and heading out, I was still grabbing it for the first day and a half every time I left the stateroom, just out of sheer habit from living my life. And over time, the ability not to have to bring it is it made it feel so free and so good. And you did it without concern because you felt safe after those tests and knowing everyone, including the crew, were vaccinated. So,
well, and then that was really one of the reasons why we did it initially, and we really haven't wavered from that. I mean, that's always been our stance all along, is 100% vaccinated crew and guests, and that's just something that hasn't changed. And really, the focus has been on safety for us, to ensure a great cruise experience, and that's where we're at right now. That's what the policy we have in place through any cruises that depart between now and the end of the year. And then as we get closer to 2022, we'll have to make the decision then.
Yeah, well, I think, for the time being, it's working, and it's working well. I mean, the ships have been now sailing since July, and more ships are sailing every day, and more people are cruising. So I just think it's wonderful. And I'm personally, and I know if you're into cruising, you'll feel great about it when you decide to go. But I think we've talked that one through. Anything else you'd like to add before we get on to some funner stuff?
No.
I think we've definitely made it as clear as we can. And again, if you have questions about cancellation policies or change policies or anything like that, talk to your vacation consultant. We may not have the fact on our desk at the moment, but we guarantee you we will go help you find the information you need to make your decision of when to travel. Next question, and far more fun. Cruising has started up in different destinations first. We know Alaska is sailing, the Caribbean sailing, and there are sailings in Europe. What are you finding are the most popular destinations and itineraries right now? And even if you know it, down to what are the most popular ships? Where are people taking their cruises from as we do this grand restart?
Yeah, so I'm going to take this one, John. Encore is a super special ship for us because she launched at November of 2019 and really only had 3 months to sail with guests before the world stopped. And it was so refreshing to see such a lovely brand new vessel in Alaska, doing the Alaskan season and itinerary that she was made to do for the first time. So I think right now, especially after missing an Alaska season in 2020, Alaska has been extremely popular, and we're seeing rising demand for 2022 in leaps and bounds for people that really want to get back up to the last frontier and explore Alaska in her grand glory. We've also seen a thirst for Europe. We've had so much interest in Greece. And I think if you look on social media now, I'm sure everybody has a handful of friends that has been looking at or exploring the Greek Isles this summer, with Greece being open and welcoming tourism. And because of the pictures and the popularity in Greece as a whole is just a fabulous summer destination, we've been seeing a strong interest in Greece and Europe as well in our Western Mediterranean itineraries. The Caribbean, also remains near and dear to our hearts, and we have so many beautiful itineraries at really advantageous rates right now for the first quarter of 2022 on some great ships: Norwegian Joy, Norwegian Encore, Norwegian Escape, all doing Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries that I think people are ready for pina colada and a stay at White Sand Beach. So that's what we've been seeing in terms of popularity.
That's right in line with, I think, what we're hearing and seeing in our communities as well, which is fantastic. And I think it speaks to, people are going to the classic destinations where things are starting up first. But I can speak from experience. We just came back from the Southern Caribbean, and it was divine to float around in a bathtub warm beach and have a cold beer in the sunshine and just let all this drift away for a while. Obviously, we all have to come home like any vacation, but it is really possible to go have a lovely time at this point. So we've talked about what's going on board, and we've talked about that in length, and we know where the ships are going and where things are popular. But what for your ships is the experience in port like now? And it may depend obviously on the protocol, but talk a little about that. And then I'd also love to hear about what's happening on your private islands. We saw the video on it, but how are protocols there? Are they any different than a public port, so to speak?
Sure. So I'll based on my own experiences, I'll share with you, what it was like when we were in Seattle and getting on the Encore. And one of the things as your guests go through the online check-in, or you as a traveler go through the online check-in, is you pick a time that to check in at the port. And one of the great things about leaving out of Seattle is we are directly across the street from the Marriott waterfront, which is right there in downtown Seattle. So I happen to be staying at the Marriott, so it was actually very convenient to be able to just walk right outside, see the beautiful Norwegian Encore there. I went, for my check-in time, we did the antigen test right there at the Marriott waterfront, and I think we're switching between the Marriott waterfront and the port building, which is literally directly across the street. But it's a very easy experience. You can register beforehand, so then you go to your check-in at for the testing. They give you a card. You go and you do your antigen test, which is the nasal swab. And within about 15 to 20 minutes, you have a number on your card, and we've got a big screen. When that number pops up on the screen, that means that you're cleared. You go up, you get a wristband, and then you can walk directly across the street and get on the ship. So you're good to go. And then in other ports, it's very similar. Here in the port of Miami, where we have a brand new terminal that just opened not too long ago, it's a very similar experience. So we are trying to ensure that the embarkation procedure is quick, because we want people to begin their vacations, and the last year and a half has really given us the opportunity to look at our embarkation procedures to really make them more efficient. And so some of the technology that we put in place for people at the port, instead of having to go to walk up to a desk, now we have a lot of handheld like iPad devices for check-in, a lot of the online check-in stuff that you do beforehand, where you can upload your vaccination card, you can upload a picture of yourself, just to make it easier and quicker, so you can hop on that ship and begin your vacation even quicker than we have been able to do in the past. And then, as far as going to different ports within the different destinations that we go to, it does differentiate depending on where you're going. There are certain ports, I know in Europe, there are some requirements, specifically in Italy, where it requires us to only allow short excursions from Norwegian Cruise Line. And, that's not necessarily our choice, because, we do like to, that's the whole freestyle concept, is giving people choice. So, we don't do that because we want to, we do that because we have to. But, there are other options, especially as I mentioned in Seattle. There's some great destinations that we go to in Seattle, and you're free, like if you're going to Ketchikan, you're free to get off the ship in Ketchikan, take the shuttle to the downtown area, walk around, go to the shops, have something to eat, and get back on board just as you would prior to the pandemic. So it really depends on the destination that you're going to, and I highly encourage you, when you begin talking to your Expedia vacation consultant about picking a cruise that's right for you, ask them, because a lot of them have had the opportunity, or they've got some peers that have been to these destinations if they haven't been themselves, to be able to tell you about what destinations, what are the requirements for specific destinations, what are the different options for shore excursions, and so on.
Fantastic and great. And I think you're right. I think, every port in every country will have mildly different truths, but that's part of the research now, is understanding what you're getting into. I personally was traveling in a bubble in a couple of the ports, and at first I thought, oh, that's a little strange. I like to just be able to wander around. But honestly, it was great. In a way, it just took that safe and clear feeling right into the port with you. And we were still able to go zip lining and do tours and such. We just did them with people from the ship, and typically that's who you were traveling with anyway. So you can still go and have a really wonderful vacation. I do have a question that's going a little off script here, but it occurred to me, and it's really more for our Canadian listeners. To travel back into Canada, if we were to come down for a Caribbean or Alaska cruise now, we need a PCR test when we land at the border. Are your ships offering such tests on board at this time? Do you do that?
Yes, we certainly do, because we know it's a requirement for certain travelers going back to the. So yes, we arrange that for a medical center. It's the PCR tests, and it's something that we offer to anybody that needs it. So it's not something we do to everybody, because not everybody requires it.
Not everybody needs it. Yeah.
Yeah. But once you're on board, we certainly have information on how to get that PCR test while you're there.
That's so great. And the ships have the labs and the ability to do it because really coming home, I was able to get the test on board, flew back to Canada. You have to fill out an app and answer some questions, but we landed, went through customs, and it was identical to coming home on any other trip. So you need to be aware of the extra 1 or 2 or 3 steps you need to jump through in terms of hoops of tests and such as a traveler. But if you're double vaccinated and you have the right vaccines, and you should check with your cruise line as to the exact vaccines that are possible. And that's all available on the websites. But it's very possible to travel right now, and it's a special time to travel. So that's great. Last question, and it's more of a fun one, and maybe we'll ask each of you. And Kayla, maybe you can go first.
Sure.
So what are you excited about for the future of travel and the future of Norwegian right now?
I'm really excited, I think, for people to have a purpose beyond work. I think that, vacation is so invigorating for so many people. And we really have found over the last year and a half of kind of being denied the ability to travel in the way that we formerly knew it, to kind of let loose and get back and to visit places that are meaningful and special to them. I think it's as simple as that. I'm looking forward to seeing people get to destinations that they've been dying to see. And we, especially with some of our itineraries, we go to so many fabulous places, and I think it's time. And, it's funny because our conversation tonight has been so focused on immediate travel. And I think I also want to let everybody know who's watching that, we have itineraries open through 2023. So even if you're not ready just yet, we have opportunities that with this freestyle sale that you can actually book into 2023 and beyond, and set that perfect destination and trip up with as much peace of mind as humanly possible. And I think that's really what we all need to plan and look forward to at this point in time.
That's a really great point, because we did talk a lot about the now, but these promotions are all about the when you're ready. And we've heard a lot from different psychology people and such. And the truth is, every single person on this call will have their green light when they're ready. And that may be next week, and it may be next year or the year after that. And that's absolutely fine. What we want you to pay attention to the fact is that due to what's been going on, the kind of offers that are in market now are the kind of offers you want to take advantage of. And I think when they come with the flexible terms that these ones do, there really is no reason not to give yourself something to look forward to.
Right.
Glenn, same question for you. What are you excited about for travel and for Norwegian?
I'm just excited to be able to travel again, right? And I want people to know that cruising is open. Destinations are open, and truthfully, I just want people to go on vacation, and I would love to have them come on Norwegian Cruise Line, but it doesn't matter to me. People just need to go. They need to get out. They need to experience again, because people are traveling, and people are traveling safely. And I think that's the most important thing. And just get something on your calendar. Get something on your calendar to think about, to dream about, to talk to your Expedia travel consultant about. Find a destination that you want to go to. And to your point, John, do it when you're ready. Like, it might not be next month, it might not be in March, but you know what, next summer, in June, July, August, that destination or that place that you've been thinking about going to but just haven't done it yet, find something, put something on your calendar so you can think about, because people are traveling safely now. And I'm just excited about being able to hop on my next cruise ship or hop on an airplane. I grew up an airline brat, so being able to hop on an airplane and fly to a new destination is something that I'm always excited about doing. And there are people doing it, and there are people doing it safely, and you could be one of those people as well. So
that's so well said. You could be one of those people. And as someone who's also in the travel business, and I've been personally traveling as much as I can in the last few months as things open up, just to get a sense of what it's like. And as a Canadian, I'm flying domestically back and forth. The airports are packed. I'm going to the US, and they're even busier, and it looks like normal. So we need to give people that news and let them know that, yes, there's a few more steps to travel, but the joy is just as rich, if not richer, and the experience is not only coming back to life, it's back. And you can, as Glenn said, when you're ready, put some money down on something and give yourself something to look forward to. Let's go to the last slide. Really want to take a moment and thank Kayla and Glenn for joining us today. We had a little bit of staticky tech stuff, but for the most part, I think we delivered a great story, and hopefully people got the information that they needed to get. The sale runs for today and 9 more days after that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kayla, but we got
That's
10
right.
days of a spectacular offer. Our vacation consultants right across North America in our stores are there. We're here to help. We want to have conversations with you about travel. We want to get you dreaming and more importantly, planning your next vacation. So have a good look at this. Please reach out to your vacation consultant if you didn't get the information you needed from today's event. But stay safe, travel well, and again, thanks so much for spending some time with us wherever you are out there in North America. And thanks again to Glenn and Kayla for spending some time with us in your evenings. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks everybody.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.